and families and individuals, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, their foreign subsidiaries, tax-free, while their own media groups promote fixing things by raising taxes on the rich. They mean your neighbor that lives in a bigger house than you. They are exempt. The ultra-rich are exempt. They sick the giant welfare-dependent class on what's left of the middle class. Then everyone's poor, and there's no way to escape the bondage. And then the government jobs or contracts are all you can get because you're post-industrial and your economy's been destroyed and you're totally dependent. It's a sharecropper, neo-feudalistic, fascistic system. Every one of those words means something. When I say a sharecropper economy, look up what that means. Where you're dependent, where you're worse than a slave. Because slave owners, if you study the Caribbean, you study North America and the colonies, then after in slavery, predominantly blacks, if you study slavery, you very, very quickly learn that the slaves, the black slaves, had it horrible, but the white indentured servants, Irish and others, they were the first waves of, quote, poor Europeans. Most of you have ancestors that were indentured servants. You would sign a 5, 7, or 10-year contract, and you would come here, but then they would make you pay for your room and board and other things, and most people never got off the plantation. And then if you tried to run, they would actually put you in torture stocks. They would lock your arms and head up in a torture position many times till you died, or lock you up in a cage. Yeah, it was only the Constitution got rid of that cruel and unusual punishment. And that's what people don't understand. And the sharecropper owners. So my point on sharecropping is, and this was written in mainline histories at the time, that the white sharecroppers a lot of times would starve to death. And the way it would be put down in the books by the sharecropper owner would be, they died of sickness, because you would get malnourished and then die of a normal cold that wouldn't kill somebody who was getting enough nourishment, and because you didn't need to take care of them. And you would have to buy your products from the company store under the contract if you wanted a shirt or a dress for your daughter. And then your children would grow up slaves of the sharecropper system. Now, when blacks got Emancipation Proclamation, they then became sharecroppers, most of them. And then a lot of black folks ran to the north and other areas where they found just as much tribalism, racism, whatever you want to call it, competing for resources, and then tried to form their own communities just so they could have, that's why folks tend to put themselves in their own community, just so they could have some type of economic ecosystem to buy, sell, and trade with each other. And I'm not saying that segregation was good. The point is that then they wanted to get rid of the thriving, wealthy black communities that had developed with their own economies, their own banks, their own grocery stores, their own churches. And so the Great Society came in as a way to have the state come in, pose as liberals, bring in money to pay the women not to have men in the house so that the society would break down, so the narcotics could be brought in, so then the young black males could be put in prison, which were colleges for crime. And now that same model is being duplicated out to everyone. So that's why they want to destroy the middle class and make us modern sharecroppers, where we all either get government contracts for business or are on some type of assistance or welfare, or they take part of your paycheck for life, steal the money, and then hyperinflate the currency and steal the value of your Social Security and your pensions, whether they're public or private. This is how the globalists operate. They do not want you to be independent. And sure enough, third round ended a few months ago of trillions of dollars of European taxpayer money being pumped into private banks and private families. And so just as soon as they got hundreds of billions more in the Greece bailout, now they're back for more, and the contagion is spreading. Oops, now more countries need to be bailed out. But it's not really countries. They always want to put the blame on the people. It's not Italy. It's not Portugal. Their government traders signed on to the derivatives, so the government investments now have been devalued, and so the bankers that sold them the fraudulent instruments don't go to jail. They get trillions more to prop up those very instruments. Euro reaches 11th hour deal as Angela Merkel and Nicolas Sarkozy hold crisis talks. So they're trying to reach this 11th hour deal. They haven't reached it yet. And it continues early on Thursday morning. After 7 hours of talks, Germany and France reached a common position on a second bailout of Greece. So somewhat of a deal, but not completely. But details of that accord were not revealed. You can't let the slaves know what's going on. The German chancellor and French president have been barraged with pleas from political and financial leaders to reach an agreement or risk the collapse of the single currency. And then they'll give them trillions more of taxpayer money to the bankers, and then you go into more debt to prop them up, and then a month from now after this New Deal, they'll say, now we need trillions more or things will collapse. And then trillions more will be given. And they'll say, now we need trillions more. We need to raise your taxes more and cut more services or things will collapse. And then more will be given. Same thing here in the U.S. And on and on and on and on and on forever, just like a third world country. Just like Nigeria, just like Brazil, just like Argentina. Argentina, more wealthy 80 years ago per capita than any other country in the world except for Switzerland. The saying was, as rich as an Argentine or an Argentine. Not anymore. Ted Anderson was down there last year, and he said it was hellish. And he said, you see families, not drunken homeless people, but good-looking families living in doorways with their children everywhere. Police stomping around. A once wealthy nation that signed on to the banker system destroyed. I'll never forget that article in 2001, the Washington Post, where the Washington Post reporter witnessed it. An 18-wheeler carrying Black Angus beef, premium beef, turned over 2 weeks into the total collapse. And there were families, it described like Robinson Crusoe, in their suits, but with torn jackets and holes in them, with dirt all over their faces, running up with knives and cutting off giant bloblets of beef and gobbling it with their children with blood all over them. You can pull that article up, just like piranhas, just like tearing into the meat. Because they hyperinflated their currency. They shut down all the infrastructure when they, quote, defaulted. And so we're just being maneuvered into the inevitable default. They're just getting us deeper, threatening default now as they get us deeper down the rat hole. Germany, France break Euro bailout deadlock. Yes. Yes. Rupert Murdoch's Fox News ran Black Op Department. Former executive claims they'll end up dead. That's out of the London Telegraph. Look for that executive to commit suicide real quick. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central, 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern, we are here live. Back Sundays with another live transmission, 4 to 6 p.m. Central Time. The websites are prisonplanet.tv, where we stream in living color the entire 3-hour program every day. Also at prisonplanet.tv, you have all my films in super high quality, expanded extras, my book, Paul Watson's book, starting next week, live rants, special interviews coming up in about a month and a half. We will launch September 1st, actually, the new nightly TV show. More details coming soon. All of that at prisonplanet.tv, and it is your memberships that also finance so much of our other operations at prisonplanet.tv. So if you believe in what we're doing, go get a prisonplanet.tv membership today. It's 15 cents a day, $5.95 a month, or get a yearly membership and get 3 months free. Prisonplanet.tv, and I only scratch the surface of the benefits of a prisonplanet.tv membership. Every subject you can imagine, from vaccines to GMO foods to stage terror to satanic activities of the globalist and their bizarre activities and mindsets, it's all at prisonplanet.tv. You can go there and download and burn to disk all my films, the thousands. It's been up there 8 years. And we had some of the archives were broken for a while of like stuff going back 8 years ago, but that's all been fixed now. So there's just thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces of media at prisonplanet.tv, a higher quality audio podcast every single day, commercial free, prisonplanet.tv. Okay, I want to get into our top story today. Here in just a moment. DHS video characterizes white Americans as most likely terrorists. I want to illustrate from every angle why this is so big and play part of the disgusting see something, say something 9-minute Homeland Security video and stop it every 10 seconds or so and just analyze. This is 100% overt what they've done with this. And so I want to break that down coming up in a moment. But first, one of the sponsors that makes this radio show possible is Mike Adams. He has put out a new incredible piece of media. Mike Adams has put together an incredible multimedia course on food security that teaches you the skills to stay alive and well-fed during any crisis. And going into this depression, this is key. You will learn things of how to build your own emergency water filter, how to create your own emergency food go bag, how to store, purify water using iodine, created by Mike Adams, the health ranger, an expert in food security, and, of course, a guest of this broadcast. The entire course is available for instant access with downloadable MP3 files. You can play on any device. 50% off sale for Alex Jones listeners ends Sunday night. 50% off. You got 3-4 days. Take advantage of that. Go to naturalnews.com/Alex. Naturalnews.com/Alex. Again, that's naturalnews.com/Alex. Or follow the banners on Infowars.com. Okay. I need to pause for a moment because I will tend to spin out and my RPMs will go up too high, and I won't calmly go over every aspect of this next report. DHS video characterizes white Americans as most likely terrorists, and I shot a video breaking down the different facets of this morning. Big Sis tries to turn minorities against whites by labeling whites terrorist. That report is up on Infowars.com as well. Our main report, DHS video characterizes white Americans as most likely terrorist, is on the right-hand side of Drudge. Second story down was top story earlier, red linked. I'm glad Matt Drudge of DrudgeReport.com recognizes what is big news. Big Sis tries to turn minorities against whites by labeling them terrorists. I wrote this little blurb this morning. Watson's article is more detailed. See something, say something. TV ads sell the false idea that white terrorists are hiding under every rock, and only Big Brother can keep minorities safe from the vicious, wicked white killers. For 9 years, this has been taught to police behind closed doors. We have the training manuals, the training videos sent to us by good police. That's how we know that. Now they are rolling it out in public, as we told you they would. They would announce white al-Qaeda is coming to get you. The propagandists in the past sold good old boys on the police state to keep us safe from al-Qaeda. They then turn it around on the whole public. We're going to go to that video in a little while. Some whites are racist against minorities, so the federal takeover is sold in the name of getting the evil brown people. Then the social engineers flip it and tell the racists that happen to have dark skin it is the whites to look out for. Total divide and conquer is the outcome. Everyone is bad, but the real terrorists that actually stage the attacks are loving protectors, the feds. So we're being told, and we're going to go to that video again a little bit later. We are told that the government is here to keep us safe. We are told that they're doing everything they can to stop al-Qaeda from striking you at any minute. And then we learn on record that the U.S. government was protecting the hijackers. That's even Senator Graham, one of the 9/11 commissioners, and 5 others. 6 of the 10 have said that. We played you the MSNBC clip last week. We learned that the underwear bomber, Christmas Day, a year and a half ago, was gotten on the plane by a U.S. government agent. The State Department had to admit that they were ordered to help get him on the plane in Amsterdam. And that without a passport, the U.S. gave him a visa. So the drugged out person could pop a firecracker on his pants, and now we've all got to accept body scanners. Not only is this a domestic police state crackdown politically, it also scares us into getting behind all these illegal wars in the name of rooting out the people that attacked us. And also these big defense contractors make in the last decade more than $2 trillion in domestic spying, over 1 million contractors spying, control grids, face scanning cameras, license plate reading cameras, naked body scanners, data mining. And I'm going to get into some of that news coming up that integrates with this. This is a total takeover. And it's very simple. It's a false flag. Hitler firebombs the Reichstag to declare a police state in Germany. Hitler blows up his own military base in Gleiwitz to blame on the Poles to launch World War II. The Tsars did it in Russia. The Soviets did it. The British have been caught doing it over and over again. Mainline British headlines, MI6 running the IRA, staging bombings as a pretext to clamp down on the Irish, as an excuse to continue to keep troops there. I mean, this is the oldest trick in the book. Obama ships tens of thousands of guns into Mexico to cause a crime wave to then blame it on the Second Amendment. And even when he gets caught,